This is not a surprise, and I think I put this at my Twitter feed. By the way, my Twitter feed is not Mike Malloy. It's Mike Malloy Show. The Mike Malloy Show. There's somebody named Mike Malloy who also has a Twitter feed, but that's not me. But anyway, it has been announced now. First of all, as we mentioned the other night, and you already know this, at 8 o'clock Thursday Eastern, 8 o'clock Eastern, NBC is going into their special report mode for the first hearing led by the House Select Committee investigating what almost happened in this country on January 6, 2021. CBS will, at the same time, air a special they've called Capitol Assault Hearings. ABC has taken a 2-hour block out of its usual primetime lineup and will be turned over to what they're calling Attack on the Capitol, the Investigation, and ABC News Special. MSNBC and CNN will have wall-to-wall coverage all night. However, guess who won't be covering it? That's right. This filthy propaganda Nazi network, Fox. The highest rated cable news network. They said yesterday that they're going to stick with their regular programming with Tucker the Nazi Carlson and Sean the Pissant Hannity and Laura the Bitch Ingram proceeding as they ordinarily would. Unbelievable. Probably one of the most significant television events since the Watergate hearings. And the fascist network, Fox, and the family that owns it have decided not to carry this. Not to carry. Tucker Carlson, this filthy Nazi, this stormtrooper son of a bitch, on Monday said that the committee hearing is grotesque. And the little prick Hannity, well, he's not little anymore. He's getting fatter than a Christmas hog. But Hannity has called this group of 5 Democrats and 2 Republicans on the committee, he calls them fake. Well, it's not really surprising. It's just what is to be expected. There really is. I mean, I hope everybody understands that there is a propaganda network, a 5th column, loose in this country, the Fox sewer, that is programmed, designed, set up to destroy the country, to bring down the democratic system, led by this little bastard Tucker Carlson. I mean, we all get that, right? I feel sorry for the viewers of Fox, a brain-dead group if ever any existed. But each night that they watch this channel, they're getting further and further. Their amygdala is being further and further distorted to the point where they can no longer find the neural pathways to truth. They can't do it anymore. So here we are, right? No coverage on Fox. Jesus. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention before we get to Jessica Wildfire, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, in its latest advisory, they call it the National Terrorism Advisory System Bulletin. And today, the Department of Homeland Security said that the United States is in, quote, a heightened threat environment. And that this looming decision that's soon to be announced by the Supreme Court ending Roe v. Wade, the increase of hysteria, the ginned up hysteria by the Nazi network Fox about the migrant situation at the U.S.-Mexican border, and the midterm elections, all of this taken together has led the Department of Homeland Security to issue this statement, quote, in the coming months, we expect the threat environment to become more dynamic as several high-profile events could be exploited to justify acts of violence against a range of possible targets. Well, that's they're addressing the internal threat as well as the external threat. But it's the latest attempt by Homeland Security to focus some attention to this incredible threat posed by domestic terrorists, violent extremists, the fifth columnists, the Christian fascists who want to burn America to the ground. And this is a shift away from what Department of Homeland Security, remember when it was set up after the World Trade Center attacks, and its original mission was to keep an eye on international terrorism that might be directed at the United States or within other countries. And that was a hallmark of the agency after it was created. But now, the threats from overseas rate only passing mention in this particular bulletin that they just issued. The bulletin does note that al-Qaeda supporters celebrated the January standoff at a synagogue in Colleyville, Texas. The report also mentions that the ISIS group called on supporters to carry out attacks in the United States. And I'm sure Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity and the rest of these filth will set their gang of idiots up to do just that. Homeland Security is also warning that China, Russia, Iran, and other nations are trying to cause further division within this country. And Sean Hannity and Tucker Carlson and the Fox sewer will participate in that to weaken this country and weaken our standing in the world. And they do this by amplifying this bullshit, these conspiracy theories and false reports that the Fox sewer puts out 24/7, 365. So according to Homeland Security, domestic violent extremists are presenting the most pressing and potentially violent threat to this country. And they're making the judgment, and they're probably right about this, that the upcoming decision from the Supreme Court, which will overturn Roe v. Wade, will probably lead to violence from either supporters or opponents of a woman's right to privacy, depending on the outcome. Racial bastards in this country, the racists, may be motivated by immigration enforcement based on whether or not the government, Biden's government, continues so-called Title 42 that the orange vomit pig bastard Trump put into effect before he was kicked to the curb. That's the public health order that's been used since the start of the coronavirus pandemic to prevent people from seeking asylum at the southern border, not Canada, Mexico. So these government agencies, DHS and FBI, are apparently working with state and local law enforcement to try to raise awareness about what we're up against. But the biggest threat, keep that in mind, the biggest threat is from the bastards in this country who have American citizenship, are probably born and raised here, and whose nerve center is this filthy shithole in Midtown Manhattan called the Fox Sewer Center. Why is this? Why is Fox allowed to continue? This is crazy. Oh, that's right. First Amendment, Mike. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcast. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.